Hello everybody, it's Annette again. I'm coming back with a pop-up on July 4th, 2025. There will not be a live stream tonight. I will be in the middle of a parade. Once again, that will be the third parade in 2 days. It's been informative for me to be out there. It's been an awakening for me to be out there marching in the parades. And I will tell you before we go into a few questions, what I know has to happen in America is, number one, because most people have been accustomed to watching mainstream media, what needs to happen in America is that the American people need to know what's going on. In no uncertain terms, I have observed that the American people in general, your average American, that doesn't make like a habit out of keeping up with what's going on in this country. The average American person has no idea what's going on because mainstream media has hidden it, even has hidden the total cognitive decline of Donald Trump. And not only that, even more of concern is the malignant, narcissist, sociopathic, fascist to the core nature of him. What I observed in these parades is the American people in general being really uncomfortable with somebody like little me shouting like a cheerleader, "Rise up" in the parade. They couldn't deal. Now, I'm not saying that I got kicked out of the parade. I'm not saying that people didn't appreciate me being there. What I'm saying is I think that having somebody like me in the parade who's not just holding a sign that says something like, land of the free, to have somebody in the parade that's actually expressing the need to express ourselves, and doing so by expressing herself. Somebody like that should not feel threatening, but it does. I think it points to people being uncomfortable that they kind of know that they don't know what's really going on. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pick a few cards about the murder bill. And remember, Kathy Beale said July 4th and this next coming week, the you-know-what's going to hit the you-know-what, the fan. And we will see some huge shifts happening. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pull 3 cards about these huge astrological shifts. It's been a long 36 hours, and it's hot here. I'm going to take a look. I think I'll have some of my berry tea. At what's going on with this astrological arrangement of the stars and planets. That means huge shifts and changes. So let's just see if we can get some insight from these cards. Huge astrological insights. It's going to feel like a punch. And we're going to see people coming into the awareness of what is actually happening. And we're going to feel like we've fallen into a hole. This is just the feeling of the coming, like today and the rest of next week. We're going to feel like we've been punched. The tears will fall. We will feel like we've fallen into a hole. We had lost our moral compass, and now we're going to see the need to get our moral compass back in general. Let's choose a few more cards to get more of the story. about the big shifts that are coming, especially astrologically, today on the 4th and through next week, and there's a full moon on the 10th. So we'll see. I hope you're marching in a parade. Please know that on the 17th is a No Kings protest, and I know there are No Kings protests throughout the country today. They're kind of getting mixed in with the 4th of July parades. Okay, so so the question is, with all these astrological shifts that are coming today and next week, what can we expect? So the first 4 cards that I pulled indicated that we would feel like we've been punched. Because the reality is most people didn't know about the murder bill. These things have never happened in the United States, so it's like not entirely their fault. So, next what will happen is that people are going to start screaming for this dumpy administration to be held accountable for the crimes. What's that on my finger? I don't know. I was making more signs. Probably magic marker. People are going to be very loud about who needs to go to jail. That's good. And then we have a resurrection, which is a new beginning. So I'm going to urge you all to not get caught up in, when's it going to happen? What are we going to see? I mean, just in terms of like how and when and how and when and how and when. We don't have to know how and when. We just have to know what. We need to get rid of this fascist regime. We need to get the cult out of our government. So let's take a look at a few of the deviant moon cards. I was going to do this outside today, but it was just too much. It was too much to ask of myself. I still have at least a 90-minute parade coming up in a couple of hours. Okay, I'm grateful we don't have that heat that we had for one day a couple weeks ago. That was brutal. That was bad. 3 cards about Dumpy. Let's pull 3 cards about Dumpy. Whenever I tune into him, it's like his brain isn't there. He is really just a puppet. The 5 of Swords, continuing. What he's really thinking about, what Dumpy's really thinking about is he's fantasizing about how much pain he can inflict. That's why I'm a loud, proud activist. He's fantasizing about how much more pain he can inflict. Just telling it like I sees it. The 9 of Pentacles. He's going to start, well, this is already happening. He's using money. He's extorting money from people. We know that. So he's actually thinking about who else to extort from. And I'm getting the sense that he thinks that he's really powerful and really forceful. But this card is interesting because I see, I don't have my glasses here. I see this. He thinks he's really all powerful, but he's really just a little demon. I mean, I think he's more than a little demon. But see, the demon has his hand on the world. That feels like Putin. This is Dumpy, actually, and this is Putin. Putin is holding the cards over Dumpy. Let's do this. Let's read on the effect of this murder bill on the MAGAs in Congress. Boy, you know, it really is a cult. I mean, this is like not far from somebody handing somebody some something to just, like a baseball bat or something, and just saying, go get that person. It has that kind of energy that these MAGAs have decided that it was okay to vote yes on that bill, and they I don't know if they recognize it or if they just, they're in a cult. I mean, that's why I keep coming back to that. It does not compute that if their constituents don't have medical care, many will die. So I'm going to choose 3 cards on what happens to them. I have read on this. I think I read on this yesterday. What happens to them? They're going to try to get a genie to give them their wishes. Everything will be exposed. The MAGA Republicans have voted for this bill. Everything will be exposed. The genie's out of the bottle. They can't put the genie back in the bottle. And they're going to see their strength is going to be challenged. Wow, that'll be interesting to see. Let's pull 3 cards about their constituents. The MAGA Republicans who voted for the murder bill, what about their constituents? They're going to be passing the word everywhere about how much money they're stealing. The 4 of Cups. This points to a lot of people just not getting it. A lot of people still not understanding what's going on. So their constituents will start to, we're going to see people starting to really wake up and do something and make those calls and do those protests. The Ace of Pentacles says that we will have our goal clearly in focus. The Page of Cups is people appealing to one another's emotions. The 4 of Cups is it's real important that the people don't miss this opportunity right now, this window to protest. There's the Ace of Pentacles. Now I did see, that means it's very clear what needs to be done. I did see a big sign being taken from protesters. I think they were in the Capitol building exercising their freedom of speech. They had a big sign that said something to do with don't take away our health care. And the sign was removed by the Capitol Police. So that's where we are. We have to all be loud, proud activists. And if they take away our signs, they take away our signs. We keep going. We keep going. And when one person is courageous enough to step forward, I mean, I can just tell you, there's a guy who stands out with his own handmade anti-Trump protest signs on one of the main streets here. He's out there every day. I've been waving to him. I'll probably go stand with him sometimes, and more people will probably start doing that. And that's how we create a movement. I want you all to keep the faith, but most of all, I want you to activate. Be a loud, proud activist. And case in point, what moved me to make that was my experience last night and today at being the only one in the parade that was shouting a message on Independence Day of no kings, rise up. And this is what democracy looks like. An Independence Day parade is what democracy looks like. That's all I have for you right now. No PNN tonight because I'll be busy. I'll do Off the Ledge tomorrow, and I can probably fit in a pop-up tomorrow too later in the day. So get out there, do your part, know that this is our call to action. And one more thing is that I mentioned this earlier, the Pope put out a message along with I think 10 or 12 bishops about how this act of signing this bill, which Dumpy is supposed to do at 5, this act of voting for this bill is, it's definitely being pushed back against by some highly, highly evolved spiritual people. That's you and me too. Alright, I'll see you soon. Happy 4th. Namaste.